Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today's workshop. We're going to be talking all about how to leverage marketing automation to triple your conversions in your plumbing, HVAC, electrical, or home service company. And I love talking about marketing. I love talking about the latest innovations on what's going on with AI and where things are headed. Let me know if you're watching this live or maybe you're watching after the fact. Let me know on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being you don't use automation at all, and 10 being like you feel like you've got automation dialed in. Maybe you've got AI chat happening on your website. Maybe you've got online booking. Maybe you've got AI voice that's actually answering your calls. Let me know on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being like not at all, on pen, paper, and a phone call that answers, 10 being I've got it pretty well dialed in. Give me a number, right? That way, this also helps you check in mentally where you're at. All right, Marcel's feels like pretty strong, like an 8. Jason's giving himself a 6. Cassandra about a 6. Excellent. I think there's always a little bit of a spectrum, right? You probably wouldn't be logging in to a session on how to leverage automation if you weren't leaning towards that direction, already embracing that idea as you grow. Nick, if you could find the mute button for that sound, that'd be great. So I really think automation, like we're talking about marketing automation to enhance conversions, has to be looked at in the bigger picture strategy of what you're looking to do. And our bigger picture strategy is the accelerated growth model, right? Which is how do we accelerate the leads? How do we accelerate the book jobs? How do we accelerate the revenue in our business so that we can accomplish the revenue growth that we're after? And really there's 3 things we have to focus on. We have to focus on driving leads, right? Getting those phone calls, getting those web inquiries, getting those chats, right? We have to then focus on conversion, because leads that don't convert into book jobs, that don't convert into actual paying customers that use us again and again, don't go anywhere. And then we've got to optimize our results, right? We have to really figure out, for all the money we're spending in marketing, what's working, right? Is it the SEO? Is it the pay-per-click? And really get a dial on how much we're spending, how much our average cost per lead is, and most importantly, what's driving the return on investment, so we can optimize those results. And so when it comes to driving leads, I'm a big proponent of let's get the organic equation dialed in. We're coming up in all the places our customers are looking for us. Then let's put some paid ad spend behind it. Let's make sure local service ads is running. Let's make sure Google ads is running. Let's make sure we've got retargeting in place. And then also, let's make sure that we're collecting a database of prospects that haven't converted yet, a database of customers that have done business with us that we want to remain in touch with so that we can do business with them again in the future and get referrals, right? If you get that dialed in, you're going to have a plethora of leads, right? We all have a different lead volume that we need, right? If you're looking to get from 700,000 to 2 million, it's a different number of leads that you need than if you're going from 5 million to 7 million. I wonder if anybody in the chat here would be able to say, hey, you know what? My lead target on a monthly basis is X, right? Let me know what that is. I'd love to know what your number is. And if you're watching this after the fact, type that in as well. Mike says, I'm a custom GPT builder and coach. Awesome. Glad to have you on here. Thanks for joining live. From there, we have to maximize conversion. And that's what we're focused on today, because if we're generating a bunch of leads through these various paid channels, we want to make sure those leads convert into actual book jobs, they convert into actual revenue. And so a couple things, right? Our website, which I talked about in our last live workshop, we have to make sure that website is built to convert, that it's compelling, that it's giving them a reason to do business with us and to call us versus the competition. A lot of home service companies bleed in that area. We also have to make sure that we've got our reputation in place, right? Where if somebody looks us up, they're going to want to know how many reviews do they have? What are other people saying about them? Are they going to take care of me? Are they going to take advantage? So making sure we've got that positive review sentiment online. And then ultimately, to optimize conversion, we want to leverage automation, right? And that's where we can get quicker speed to lead. We can follow through and follow up better. We can meet our customers where they're at. And so that's what we're going to be talking about and really focusing on today. Another way to look at this is in these 3 things, in these 3 boxes, and we're going to zoom in right now on marketing automation strategies. So for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Josh Nelson. I'm the founder of Plumbing and HVAC SEO. I'm the author of How to Triple Your Sales by Getting Your Internet Marketing. I've been actively involved in this industry for going on, I think it's 15 years now. Really involved in QSC, Nexstar, Service Roundtable, CEO Warrior. Have had the opportunity to be in those rooms, be in those conversations. But I'd say more important than any of that stuff is at this point, I've literally in our organization worked with hundreds of plumbing, HVAC, electrical companies and be able to really get in the weeds with them in terms of their marketing and been able to see a lot of them go from struggling presence online to the point where they're now the dominant player in their market. Many of them seeing millions and millions of dollars in revenue growth, and I'm happy to share case studies on that as we go. And a lot of them have recently been acquired, right? With all of the acquisitions that are going on, if you've got a good marketing system, if you've got a good conversion mechanism, you become very attractive to private equity. And so what I share isn't based on theory. Like, this is based on our company physically working with hundreds of companies, seeing what's working in the immediate moment, testing new things. And that's what we share. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys on today's session. And this is what we do, right? We literally have a team of 47 full-time employees at Plumbing and HVAC SEO, kind of scattered across the country. And we live this stuff, setting up the websites, making sure they're built to convert, making sure the copy is compelling, making sure the website's got the proper authority to rank, and then putting all the strategies in place with paid advertising, with tracking, with marketing automation. And so if you're interested in talking with us and having us do a free evaluation of your current online marketing strategy, we'd love to do that for you. Sometimes it's good to be on these sessions, but sometimes you want somebody just to drill down on your specific situation. So if that's you, Nick's going to drop the link. You just go to plumberseo.net/schedule, grab a time, no hard sale. We'll do an evaluation of your current online marketing, show you what's working, show you where there might be some gaps, and talk about, hey, if you're interested, here's how we can help. And if not, that's cool too. We'd love the opportunity to just check your stuff out, share some insights. And if there's a fit, fantastic. If there's not, that's okay. So with that said, when it comes to marketing, this is all about marketing and really marketing automation in general. What's your biggest challenge right now? If you could drop that in the chat for me, whether you're on with me live or maybe watching this elsewhere, maybe listening to it, I want you to at least think the thought, what is the biggest challenge when it comes to marketing your plumbing, HVAC, home service company? I would love it if you drop something in the chat. But what I typically hear, and we talk with plumbing, HVAC, home service companies every day, not enough leads. Hey, listen, I've got technicians, I've got trucks, we've got things that we need to do, and we don't have enough leads coming in to keep the trucks running. Type leads if that's you. It's just not enough leads. And I know that I hear that often. The other thing I hear is low quality leads. Hey, you know what? I've got leads. Yeah, I paid this company and they got me ranked, or I paid this company and they're doing ads for me, and I'm getting leads and they're telling me, hey, look, you got X amount of leads, but they're low quality. They're not the kind of customer that actually has a problem right now, or they're just tire kickers. They're not really the good fit for what we do. Type quality if that's for you. Jason says converting leads online. You're in the right place. That's what we're going to be really focused on today. But quality, for some of us, that's the struggle. It's, man, just none of these jobs convert. It feels like a big waste of my time. The other challenge I hear, like the big problem, is the leads are costing too much and there's a low return on investment. And so some of us are saying, look, I've invested in this and I do see lead flow and we actually get some booked jobs, but by the time I pay my technicians, by the time I cover my overhead, there's just not a return on investment. Like, I'm just barely breaking even. Type ROI in the chat if that's you. So this is an ROI issue. Let's see. Abel says, not able to cost control per lead through Google Ads. And that's an issue, right? The cost of Google Ads right now, unfortunately, is going up. And the competition, because there's so many other plumbing, HVAC, home service companies out there, if we're not getting a quality cost per lead through effective strategy and then really converting those leads, our cost to acquire to actually convert the book job is more than the cost or more than the revenue generated, right? So this is an example here, like just low ROI. And it could be, if you drill down, maybe Google Ads in your market isn't a good fit, or maybe just the way that it's structured, you're going after too broad of a set of keywords and you need to dial that in. That's a topic further. Actually, I talked deep on that particular issue last week. So if you want to go check out the recording of our previous session on how to accelerate your results with Google Ads and paid advertising, that is a great session to dive into. And so for some of us, it's a lack of clarity, right, for ROI. So it's like, hey, you know what? I do get a return on investment. It's not where I want it to be. It never is, right? We always want to make more than we currently are. But I don't know. I feel like I'm flying blind at some level. I feel something's working. I just don't know what it is. Type clarity. If it's for you, it's like, I don't really know, and I'd like to know. These are the challenge we hear every single day. The other big challenge is there's too many options, right? When it comes to marketing, your home service company. Back in the day, it was pretty easy, right? We bought an ad in a double truck ad in the yellow pages, spent a bunch of money, but that's where our customers looked. And it was pretty simple. In today's market, man, there's so many options, right? They could go to Google. Maybe it's Google ads. Maybe it's local service ads. Maybe it's, hey, you know what? These people are telling me I need to be on Thumbtack, or I need to be on whatever platform. I should be doing radio advertising. I should be on all of these channels. Type options. If you just feel overwhelmed, there's so many different ways to market your plumbing, HVAC, home service company. It's hard to pick, right? It's hard to stick with one particular strategy. And my belief, now having worked with, again, hundreds of plumbing, HVAC, home service companies, is in most cases, it's not really a lead problem, right? There's so many options that we can implement. There's so many strategies. There's so many homeowners that are in desperate need every single day for our services, whether it's installing a water heater, whether it's replacing an AC system, whether it's doing a new electrical build out for their EV system. There's a surplus of demand for these services. And we all know there's a limit to the amount of people that are trained in these services, right? There's more supply than there's more demand than there is supply. And so with all of the channels, there are companies that are winning today. There are plumbing, HVAC, home service companies that are absolutely crushing it, that are absolutely getting 100, 200, 500 times growth year over year. What's the difference, right? Why is it that maybe in your situation, you're not seeing that growth? You're not able to get the results that you want? I believe it's not a lead problem, it's a conversion problem. And what I'm seeing is unconverted leads is the biggest challenge, because I'll share some stats with you. If we're paying for Google ads, if we're paying for SEO, if we're paying for display advertising or Facebook ads or whatever channel you're talking about, and we're not really good at converting those leads into sales, it becomes very expensive. The ROI becomes very poor. And so this is the problem we have to solve for. And that's what we're going to focus on today's session. And we put together a little overview of kind of really focusing and looking at the biggest challenges, the biggest problems we're seeing home services deal with. And we put together a little document, the 5 marketing mistakes that are quietly killing your book jobs. If you want that, just type in 5. Just put the number 5 in the chat. That will trigger Nick to say, okay, they want this, and we'll send it over to you. And if you're watching this after the fact, just put the number 5, and that will tell us to go ahead and grab that file where you can download it. Marcel, Jason, okay, guys, Nick, if you could drop the link for them, that would be great. But here's the problem. Big picture. The problem is 90% of the people that get to your website don't convert. If I look at your website today, maybe you're in a unique situation, 90% of the time, they get there, they're in your market, they have a problem, but for some reason, they're not converting. And that's statistically across the board in the industry. 50 to 60% of your inbound leads go unconverted. So inbound leads, it's like they picked up the phone, they called your office. For some reason, they didn't convert, right? They didn't actually even wind up doing business with you. And then 90% of web forms go nowhere, right? If you've got a form on your website where someone can enter their name, their phone number, their email address, and a little brief description of their issue, I'm telling you, I look at these every day. Those aren't winning. They're not converting. And that's a statistical reality in your home service business today. So here's why, right? Why is that happening? Why are the people that actually have a problem they need to solve coming to your website in your market not converting? Well, here's the statistics. Hopefully you guys can see this. Just give me a yes in the chat. Hopefully my screen's large enough here that you can see it. Type yes if you can see the text. I'll walk through it, but I would like you to be able to get the visual reference as well. Number 1, today's consumer would prefer to book online versus to call in and speak to somebody, right? If they have the choice, they'd rather book online. And I know home services, we are conditioned for the phone, right? We want to have them call. We've got the dispatch company dispatch team standing by to answer the questions. And that's how we've built our entire marketing machine, to focus on the phone call, But I don't know about you. I personally today have become very eager mentality, right? I need groceries. I pull up an app. I put the 7 items that I want in, and a couple hours later, the groceries show up at my door. I need to get to someplace and my car's broken down. I'm not calling the taxi service. I'm going into an app and I'm saying, come pick me up. And that's most of your customers are either in that place today or very directly headed in that direction. And so if they have the opportunity they've got a plumbing or an HVAC or electrical problem, if they've got the opportunity to get to your website and fill in a form, or get to your website and pick up a phone call and have to talk to somebody and have to stop what they're doing, or they have the opportunity to schedule a date and a time where one technician is going to come out to the house, they're going to choose that every day. Now, that's not everybody. I'm not saying we need to eliminate the phone calls. I'm not saying we need to eliminate the web forms, but I am saying if we don't have online booking, that's going to be a big problem in terms of like why somebody would hit the back button and go to the competition versus booking directly on your website. If given the choice, they would prefer to text message or to start a chat than to have a phone conversation. I don't know about you, like right now, if anybody needs to reach me and they're calling my direct cell phone number, unless I'm expecting the call, unless I know what that call's about, it's going to go to voicemail. And I'm going to wait for them to I won't even listen to the voicemail. I'm going to wait for them to text message me. And if it's really important, we'll have a two-way conversation. Type text if that's you. Like, given the option to have a conversation or to have a quick text to solve the issue, what do you choose? I want you guys to type this in if you're live in the room or if you happen to be listening after the fact. Most of us are opting to have a text conversation. Now, outside of that, for the people that do submit a form, for the people that do pick up the phone call and have a conversation, leads that don't get followed up within 15 minutes or less, go cold, right? There's just too many options. And today's consumers moving this quickly, right? They've got an issue in the home. They're busy. They got other things going on. Maybe they're quickly typing a search into Google or they're typing into ChatGPT, and they're just looking to get the problem solved as quickly and efficiently as possible. And so if they get to your website and they opt to do a chat or they opt to fill in a form, if you don't have somebody that's immediately following up with them, they're hitting the back button and they're going to the next company. And they're going to the company that either does answer live and can book them, or they're going to the company that's got an online widget where they can schedule in. True or true? Just type true if you know that to be true. 15 minutes, and that's an old stat, right? It's probably more like 5 minutes in today's market. And the average unconverted customer needs to be touched 5 to 7 times before they book. There's a lot of customers that are in a shopping mode, right? Sometimes it's an emergency, and we know those are going to get booked one way or the other, but other higher ticket things that we do, like a full house repipe or changing out their HVAC system or installing an EV system for their garage to power up the new Tesla or whatnot, those people might need a little bit of more nurture, right? And I find most plumbing, HVAC, home service companies, tell me if this is, you're going to cite me if this is you, their whole marketing strategy is optimized around, let's generate a phone call, right? And somebody in the office ideally is there to answer the call, and they're going to answer a couple questions. They're going to try and schedule the conversation. They're not going to give the price over the phone, but best case scenario, the customer says, yes, I'll schedule, and they schedule for Tuesday at 2. After that call hangs up, if they didn't book, there's literally nothing happened. There's no follow-up email. There's no follow-up call. There's no drip campaign. If they didn't book, it's gone. And I will tell you 99 out of 100 plumbing, HVAC, home service companies in today's market, that's the reality. And statistics tell us if we can just be a little more diligent, if we can just be a little bit more thorough with our follow-through, we can convert most or more of those opportunities into book jobs. Type 1 in the chat here if you're following along, if this makes sense. These are the reasons you're not converting the deals and the opportunities that are coming your way. Thank you, Jason. So here's the solution, right? It's pretty simple. In today's market, the technology exists to eliminate all of those issues. Number 1, offer online booking, right? Give the customer the ability to pick a date and a time. And we'll talk more about logistics of that and whether it actually has to match to your dispatch availability, or if we can just do a soft booking, right? In a lot of cases, the soft booking accomplishes the same outcome. So offer online booking, have a two-way chat option on your website where somebody can text message back and forth with you, right? And I'm going to advocate for two-way text because just having a dead-end chat on your site where they have to chat only on the website itself, you don't get their cell phone number. And once they close the window, you've lost them. Versus once they've two-way text messaged you, Now you've got their cell phone. You're actually able to communicate with them wherever they go in that moment in time. Number 3 is we want to make sure we're leveraging automation. Automation now exists where the moment somebody requests an appointment, the moment somebody fills in that form on your website with the details, that very moment they can get a phone call connected to your office. They can get a text message. Hey, saw you filled in the form. How can we help? And they can get an email. And then they can also get added to a follow-up sequence where we can drip them automatically, because let's face it, you're not going to put somebody on your office drip following up with all of your leads, but we can put automation to continue to circle back until they've either booked the job or until they've said they've gone somewhere else. So this is the solution, right? It's pretty simple. The technology absolutely exists, but it can have a huge ramification on the results that you get with your marketing and how you grow your plumbing, HVAC, home service company. So I'm just going to give you simple math here, and I want to share real examples on this as we go. But let's just say right now you're generating about 100 leads per month, right? You've got like phone calls coming in, you get web inquiries coming in, 100 leads per month, and your conversion rate's 30%. Right? And that's about the norm, unfortunately, right? Because you have no automation, because you're not quick to follow up on your leads, 30% of your leads convert. So what happens is you wind up with, let's just call it 30 book jobs from those 100 leads. Optimistic. That's optimistic, unfortunately. So 100 leads, 30%, 30 book jobs. Let's just say your average ticket is $650. Let me know what your average ticket is here in the chat. I know that I've seen tickets as little as $250, even in today's market, and tickets north of $2,000, depending upon what you do and whether you're in a higher end and how well your technicians upsell in the field. Let me know if you could what your average ticket is. But let's just say it's $650. 30 jobs at $650, that's $19,000 in revenue generated. That's high cost to acquire. That's rough. Now, we've seen when we put this automation in place, where we're following up speedily, we're giving the opportunity to book directly online, we've seen we can see conversions go up to as high as 70%. Really, that's the gold standard from a lead to a book job. And so how does that change with the automation, with putting this stuff in place? So you go from 30 book jobs to 70 book jobs for the same number of leads without spending another dollar in advertising, without spending another dollar in local service ads, without spending another dollar in whatever. We're generating now 70 book jobs. You keep the average ticket at $650. If you've got a higher ticket like Jason of $1,209, numbers even look better. But you go from like $20,000 to $45,000 in revenue because you're following up more effectively, because you're able to convert those leads into book jobs and into sales. This makes every lead that you generate more valuable. It gives you the opportunity to be more aggressive with your marketing, right? Because if more of the leads are converting, your average cost to acquire a customer is less. You can spend more on Google ads. You can spend more on local service ads. You can start to compete with even some of the big dogs in your marketplace. And so a really good example of that is Cardinal HVAC out in the Wisconsin market. And you can pull up their website, cardinalhvac.com. As a matter of fact, let me just pull that up real quick. That way you guys can see a visual of this in the real world. Hang with me. All right, in 1 second, you guys should be seeing my screen up close. All right, so let's pull up Cardinal HVAC. And without getting into all the details about the structuring of the website and everything else, there's a couple things we definitely want to optimize to improve conversion, right? Just drop a 1 in the chat if you're seeing my screen. I just want to make sure you're seeing my screen okay. But obviously the phone number. That phone number is going to be where most of our opportunities convert. So we want to make sure phone number's front and center, and we want to make sure it's easy to get to on a mobile device, right? So if we were to orient this so that it's really tight, like phone number is a click to call right from the mobile site. The other important factor from a conversion perspective is online booking. I said it once, I'll say it again and again. Given the opportunity, your customers will prefer to book online versus pick up the phone and call. And so we want to have the opportunity where they can click a button, give you some details about their situation, give you some details about where they exist, and actually schedule, right? Whether that's a hard booking or a soft booking. And we can do this through Conversion Amp. We can do this through Schedule Engine. We can do it directly on Service Titan. We can do it directly on House Call Pro and Field Edge. But this technology exists. And it's crazy to me that there's plumbing, HVAC, electrical companies that aren't putting this in place. Now, the third conversion factor we want to have is the ability to have that two-way chat, right? And we can do this through Chirp. We can do it through Conversion Amp. We can do it through a variety of different platforms and these other tools. But it's really important. Like I can talk about a million different reasons why this website converts, but specifically those 3 conversion factors are the main things that you want to focus on. And so I'm going to show some of the data here behind Cardinal, right? If we look at the metrics in their particular case, about a $14,000 a month investment in online marketing. So that's our management fees, that's Google Ads, that's other targeting spend. We track 1,931 leads per month, right? And we're maniacal to see how many actually phone calls, how many web forms, how many online bookings scheduled. So that's 1,931 leads. You divide that out, that's about $7.28 per lead. Really effective cost per lead. I'm not promising that to anybody, but I'm just saying when we get the marketing lead generation strategy dialed in, and then we really dial in the conversion, we can get really effective cost per lead metrics. And so they're converting just in terms of their lead to call ratio about 25%. When we look at the follow-up and follow-through on the back end, it's getting close to 50% from lead to book job. Another great example of this is JD Precision. You can pull that up on your own if you like, but same thing, right? Phone number in the right place, chat online, ability to schedule directly through their website, similar spend, about $14,000. They're in spring text, a little more competitive market, 625 leads tracked. That's an average of $22.69 per lead in plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. And you can see it comes from a variety of sources, right? Some from call-ins, some from Google Ads, some from directly getting ranked on the Google map in their market. And so again, straight conversion, website to conversion, about 20% after the automation in place, close to 50%. And I can share lots more examples. I don't want to get too into the weeds, but a lot of us, I know me personally, like to see examples to validate, okay, does this actually make a difference in the world? Type example if it's helpful to see a couple of examples of this in play. All right, so how do we do this? What is it that we need to understand? What is it that we need to put in place? Number one, we have to engage the way that our customers want to engage. I talked about this before. I want to make sure it settles that your customer would like to book online. They would like to two-way text message, and some of them would like to phone call. Stop making phone conversation the only option in order to schedule a time with your company. Here's some of the biggest trends on this particular area. Just to validate this with data, 73% of consumers prefer booking services such as plumbing, electrical, and HVAC online, driven by speed, lead, and convenience. That's why valveandmeter.com. Online bookings jumped 52% from 2019 to 2022. And think 2025, how much that's accelerated. We don't have that data right now, but we're seeing our clients that do offer online booking, that's where the prospects are going. So you don't have that huge opportunity. Businesses that offer online booking see an average increase of up to 120%. And then 45% of bookings happen during off-peak hours. This is important because I know a lot of you guys have live answer between 7 a.m. and 3:30 or 4 p.m. Eastern time, or whatever your time is where you operate. And after that, it's going to like this janky phone answering service, and they do a very basic job of collecting details. If you've got online booking, if you've got live two-way chat with automation, people can take care of their situation, even if it's after hours, even if it's like in weird hours, and in their mind, solve the problem and have the thing scheduled. So just making the case, like these are the trends, these are the opportunities. Type 3, if these 3 conversion factors are starting to make sense to you, and why we want online booking, why we want two-way text, and why we want to have other opportunities for conversion. All right, Marcel, thank you very much. Very good. All right. Also, statistics say that 90% of all text messages are opened. 95% of text messages are responded to within 3 minutes of being delivered. And what's more important is they're 5 times more likely to send and receive a text message than a phone call. So if we don't have texting as an opportunity and we're just leveraging the phone, or we're just thinking we're going to use email because email is a dead end for home services, right? Like very few of your customers are going to convert via email. We need to give them online booking. We need two-way text messaging, and we do need the live phone answer as a mechanism. Number 2 is speed to lead. We have to follow up quickly. We have to make sure that we're not leaving our potential customers waiting. right? The faster we can get back to their inquiry, the faster we confirm their online booking, the better. Some stats on this: leads that aren't followed up within 15 minutes or less go cold. Following up within 5 minutes is 21 times more effective than calling after 30 minutes. After 5 minutes, the odds of qualifying a lead drops by 80%, and 50% of leads go with the company that answers first, right? So if you're frustrated with your thumbtack or you're frustrated with your conversion rates, it's because somebody else is using automation or enabling online booking, and they're following up quicker, and they're getting those book jobs, and they're capturing that revenue. Hard to do this in the absence of automation, right? If we are not leveraging automation, then we'd have to have an army of salespeople standing by to answer live. We'd have to have an army of salespeople standing by the second a web form comes in, and they'd have to have an army of salespeople that are following up on all of these opportunities manually and sending text messages and making phone calls. With automation, we can streamline this entire process. And really what this enables us to do is allow customers to at least soft book online. And so this is where I want to talk briefly. Some of you guys feel like I don't want to give them an online schedule option because I don't know when my tech's going to be available. I don't know if that's going to be like matched up with our actual booking system. And I hear that. And I ideally get your whole stuff synced up so that when they do pick a time, it shows your actual availability and you can actually get that done. But in the meantime, you can absolutely offer a soft booking. So what a soft booking is, they see a date and a time, let's say tomorrow at 2 p.m., and they enter their name and their email address, and they've picked that time, and they get an email that says, thanks so much for scheduling or requesting our team to come out this day and at this time. We will get back to you as soon as possible. And then Betty in the office or Tom in the office, whoever gets that message, can look at the dispatch board and say, actually, we don't have availability right now. Let's call that customer. Hey, customer, I saw you requested that time. Unfortunately, we don't have availability at that time, but I can get there the next day or the day a little bit earlier in that day. Does that work for you? The reason this is so important is your customers that want to book online, a lot of them are bypassing you altogether, right? They're just trying to get something scheduled so they can take it off their plate. And so they're going to your website, they're seeing if there's online booking, maybe they're submitting the form, but then they're hitting back and they're going to the next site and trying to book online. The moment they pick a date and a time, in their mind, it's done. All right, Tuesday, 3 o'clock, I picked this company and I'm gonna stand by, right? They don't need to keep shopping. They don't need to keep looking. So just type soft, for those of you that are worried about this. If you can at least move to a soft booking approach, it's going to lead to more book jobs. It's going to lead to a lower cost per appointment, and it's going to lead to a happier customer, right? Assuming you've got at least relative availability close to the time that they picked. The other thing we can do with automation is make sure that every lead gets an email, an SMS, and a phone call in 30 seconds or less, right? The automation can automatically fire and say, hey, thanks for coming to our website and requesting information. How can we help? Start that conversation. And we can also automate the next piece of that, which is, did you want to go ahead and schedule a time? And if they write back yes, then it says, hey, great, here's the scheduling link where you can pick a time that works for you. And they pull that up and they pick a date and a time, and then they enter our confirmation workflow. But there's lots of things we can do to automate the speed to lead. And then we can also make sure that those customers that are in that wishy-washy phase, maybe they're still thinking about it, maybe they're not ready to schedule yet, that we're dripping on them, right? We're just dripping check-ins. Hey, it's been a week. You were on our website, you requested a form, or you tried to schedule a time. Do you still need some help? Is there some way we can support you? Simple stuff, right? Really, with today's technology, not very hard to implement, but can have a huge impact on your results. We've engineered this in our platform, which we call Conversion Amp, and it takes the entire process from somebody called in and went to voicemail. We can send them to missed call text back. Somebody tries to schedule a time online, but they don't actually pick a time. It says, hey, did you want to schedule a time? Once somebody schedules, confirming it and doing the soft booking process. That's the platform we've developed specifically for the plumbing, HVAC, home service companies. I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you feel if you implemented that, you would make more money? Just type yes if so. So if you implemented every lead getting followed up within a minute or less, every lead getting touched a couple of times, giving people the opportunity to schedule online, Jason says yes. I think obviously this is going to help you convert more jobs. It's going to help you maximize the return on investment from your advertising, and will also give you a competitive advantage so that you can potentially participate if your Google ads cost is too high right now, because you convert more of those opportunities, or maybe even plug into other lead channels that to this point aren't working out. I'll share an example, like real world example of AAA air conditioning. You can see here, $6,000 in spend, 439 leads per month, give or take, $13.79 per lead. So 439 leads, average conversion rate was like 40%. That's 175 booked jobs, a little higher ticket. They're on the HVAC side, 950. That's 230 jobs at 650 to 950. That's 166K in revenue. That's a projected ROI of 27 times. Now, once we got the automation in place, we bumped that to 65%. Right? So now we've got 285 book jobs, average ticket, 950. That's $270,000 in revenue. Now we're at 44 time return on investment. And Mark Mason, I recently did an interview with him, and he shared how this has impacted their growth. What he said was, we've gone from $1 million to over $14 million in revenue over the last 3 years. And really getting the online marketing and the conversion was a massive driver of that outcome. And I think the principle behind this, I'm not sure how many of you guys are fans of Dan Kennedy, an old school direct response guru. His famous quote was, the business that can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. And you can spend more to acquire a customer when you're able to convert more of the leads that you generate into book jobs. And when you also are better at converting those one-time customers into repeat buyers that use you again and refer you to others. And that's the other beautiful thing we can do with automation. Like, we can really nurture those relationships from a one-time customer to a customer that uses us again and again. So how do we implement this in your business? I'm going to give you very basic tactics here. We want to make sure, regardless of how someone gets to you, when they get to your website, we're going to drive them maybe through Google Ads, or maybe through SEO, or maybe through other advertising channels. We give them 3 opportunities to convert, right? We give them the web form, we give them the phone number, we give them the online chat, and we give them the online booking. And then we're going to plug that in to a marketing automation system so that every lead gets that call and that text message and that email, and every lead gets added to a drip sequence, communicating in the ways that they want to convert. Visually speaking, so this is Sasquatch Home Services in Canada website, right? We've got our website, we've got our phone number prominent, we've got our online booking, we've got our live chat opportunity, which is going to open up to a 2-way text message. Obviously, the phone is the phone, right? We want to make sure when somebody clicks on that, or when somebody clicks on it, it's click to call, that we have a live answer, right? Some of us need to make sure we answer those calls, right? Some of us need to make sure we're a little more diligent with the follow through on that. Number 2 is only when they click the little chat widget here, we make sure they've got a place to enter their name, their cell phone number, quick details, and that actually sends a text message that starts a chat queue. And we can have automation behind that, right? So that we've got speed to lead with our 2-way text message. So it's, hey, just so you filled in the form on our site, how can we help? And now we're 2-way text message, and we're trying to move them, and we can train the AI to ask the right questions, to answer the simple things, and to try and get them to soft schedule that appointment. And then, of course, we want that online booking where they can enter some details prior to the appointment about their situation, about their service area, and actually soft book or book directly in to the platform. There are some cool things, since this is a session about marketing automation in place in today's market, that we can leverage for call answering. And I know a lot of you guys are great. You've got great dispatch teams. You've got great people on the phones. But the technology now exists where we can train AI voice to answer the call, to have a 2-way conversation, to answer questions, and to qualify and soft book appointments. For some of you, completely unnecessary. For others of you, if there's a time where you're going to a voicemail through hours, let's just say, and it's ringing to a voicemail, that's a big time missed opportunity. And we should be having AI answer those calls and vet those conversations. I'm just going to share a quick preview of this, because the technology's come so far. This is something we've been working on, especially for our clients that have been, sending their calls to an answering service after hours. It's not perfect, but this is where it's at today. You can only imagine where the technology is going to be in a couple of in a couple of years. And I will tell you, we have clients using this in the immediate moment and getting great results. Let me just make sure that I'm sharing with sound, because otherwise you won't be able to hear this. Share with sound. All right, here we go. One of the things something is voice and AI messaging authorities are working hard on how to set up voice to calls and to make solely from prospective customers, booking more jobs, more quick, speed to lead, speed to booking is this. Hi, this is Josh. Actually, we're having an issue with the water heater right now. Heating the pipes, not heating the water. I need to have someone come check it out. Yeah, like just basically we go into the shower, the water's full second, and then it gets cold. So we need to try and get it fixed ASAP. Yeah, it's 13999 Old Jams Road, and that's 33158. It's awesome. Yeah, that's the best number. It's Josh Plumber SEO. Tomorrow at 10 would be good. Could you give me what out your leave today? Mario. Yeah, sure. That's fine. No, I think that's it. So not too bad. We asked it a question, come up with an intelligent answer. Always notice the program you get. I wanted to address the customer and solve the problem. So is there room for improvement? Absolutely. Is it better than going to a call center that doesn't understand what you're trying to do, or going to a voice? So in today's market, if you're going to a voicemail after hours, having a voice like this, a conversational tone with prospect, that can the question solve the time could be a massive improvement in conversion, because you can answer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you've got people calling you and actually getting an answer, feeling like they're skipping technology in the works. Want just a quick demo of how close this AI voice is to being ready for prime time. So good. That's a good opportunity again for some of you guys, right? But for the rest of you, online scheduling, two-way text messaging, leveraging AI to have those text conversations solves the speed to lead issue and massively improves the conversion numbers. So I've got a visual flow here. If anybody's interested in really looking at this and how it can be implemented in the real world, we'd love to chat, right? You could schedule a time with us at plumberseo.net/schedule. We could review your stuff, show you where there's room for improvement. Or if you could just say, hey, I just want to see this AI stuff in action, we can definitely demo that portion of it for you. So that company I was talking about earlier, Sasquatch, I pulled up their website, kind of showed you. The owner, Dale Morton, just recently did an interview with our director of client services, Kay Chappelle, and he said he's grown to over $5 million from startup in just 2.5 years. And a lot of that had to do with leveraging automation, online scheduling, even not being the big player in his market. Because he had these strategies in place, he was able to remain competitive and see some accelerated growth in his business. So final reminder, right? Final reminder here is your customers want to book online and they want to engage via two-way text message. Leads that don't get followed up within 15 minutes or less are going to go cold. Follow up in 5 minutes is 21 times more effective. And 50% of your customers are going to go with the company that answers first, that follows up first, that gives them the opportunity to book in first. And so hopefully this is something you'll do. Whether you do it with us or not is okay. But just let me know, will you do something with this? Whether it's putting in online automations, whether it's online scheduling, just type yes in the chat here if you're going to do something with this. And if you'd like help, we'd love the opportunity to connect with you. Again, you can call us at 866-610-4647, or you can schedule at plumberseo.net/schedule. That's if you want help with your website, your online marketing, you want to look at the big picture strategy of growing your plumbing, HVAC, home service business online. We do those sessions completely free. We'll do a deep dive analysis of your current website, your current rankings, your conversion factors on the website, and show you where there's room for improvement and how we can help. Again, no hard sale, no pressure. You can complimentary do that at plumberseo.net/schedule. If you're really just more interested in the marketing automation side, you can check out conversionamp.com. That's conversionamp.com. There's a demo there and an opportunity to schedule a free one-to-one. Awesome. All right, guys. I think that's it. Marcellus, thanks. We got to go. Thanks so much for your feedback, everyone. I hope you got value from today's sessions. If you've got questions, feel free to drop them here in the chat. Or if you're watching after the fact, feel free to put it into the comments wherever you're watching. And be sure to schedule a time and let us know how we can best support you with these strategies. All right. Great work today, Nick. Thanks, everybody, for your time. We'll see you again real soon.